My name is Zac Dingee. I run a solar sales company that last year did over $100 million. I started in this business at 19. I started as a sales rep and worked all of my way up from sales rep, sales manager, regional sales manager, director, to president of sales. And so I've made a lot of mistakes in my time. We've probably hired 300, 400, 500 people and we're only at 80. We've been in 6 different states. Now I'm back down to 1. So now I have a lot of layers and I've been at every layer. So I feel very, very qualified to talk about this because this is all I've done for 7 or 8 years now. Number 1, how to prove you are worthy at management. Management and leadership is kind of a weird thing. It's like generally the number 1 salesperson doesn't make a good manager. So it's not the person who's the best at sales. A leader or a manager is really someone who's good at sales, good at all the things that make you a good salesperson. But then to become a manager, you need to be good at leading people. So what does leading people mean? Well, you kind of have to have moral authority. So you have to be a good person. People have to want to be led by you. You have to have good skill sets for whatever business you're in. So you have to know a lot about the product, how to solve problems, how to fix other people's problems, how to be reliable. When somebody calls you, do you pick up the phone and help them? So leaders are really just people that can create the culture. So when I think about what makes a sales team a good sales team, is culture. Culture eats strategy. I don't care what kind of script or plan or thing you have that you think is the greatest in the world. If you don't have a good culture of people that are going to go out and work hard and do all the things that you ask, none of the strategy matters. So culture is like, how hard does your team work? Do they show up on time or do they not? Do they respect you? Do they respect each other? Do they work well together? Do they want to go on trips and travel? Do they want to hang out outside of work? That's all what culture is. And so if you build a really, really good culture by incentivizing the right way and doing a bunch of other things we're going to talk about in this video, then you will become a worthy manager because people want to be led by you. And the last part to being worthy is, have you proven success over a long enough period of time? It's easy to be good for 3 months, to have a big quarter or a big half a year. But if you can consistently be great for 2, 3, 4 years, it's very easy for people to follow you because people love consistency. They love when someone shows up every single day and does their job. So a big part of being worthy is time. It's really time plus skill equals worthiness. The more time you've been great at something and the better you are at that, the more they deem you as worthy to be their leader. Number 2, 1 million to 100 million. Because that's kind of where we started from. We started at a $3 or $4 million a year company when I came in, and now we do over 100 million in sales. So when you're a $1 million company or less, or you have less than a few people on your team, you only have one manager, and that's you. So when you only have one manager, you just do your job and you go out and you train everyone, you recruit everyone, you do everything. When you are the one-man show, it is your job to do everything. And a lot of people stop here. You've probably heard this term called the solopreneur. This person is an entrepreneur, but it's only them, solo. In today's world, that just doesn't work anymore. You need other people to help you, and this game is only going to get you so far. There's no companies in the Fortune 500, or really probably even no companies that do over $100 million a year where it's just one employee. That just doesn't exist. You need multiple people. So when you are a small company, it's just you. This is probably the easy part because you control all the levers. You control the creation of culture. You control all the standards. As the company grows, you're probably not only going to have more people, you're going to have more managers. So this is like the next stage, 1 to 3 managers beneath you. Now you have, in most companies, this is probably going to be like 20 to 40 million in sales. When you have more than one manager, now you are standardizing things across all offices. And standardization in a company is very hard to accomplish. It's not an easy thing to do. So how do you make sure that every manager does the things you want them to? Is to literally just have them spend time with you. When my first manager came around, they just watched what I did for like a year and a half. And then by the time they got promoted to a manager, they knew everything of how I wanted, how I expected it. And so it was a very easy relationship of, you've watched me for 18 months, do what I did, put your own spice on it. You can be your own person, but you know what I expect for meetings. You know how I run meetings. You know how we run calls. You know how we have one-on-ones. You know how you do quarterly reviews. Like, you've seen everything now because you've been in part of that meeting. So if you're your first manager, just have them follow you around for 3 months to 18 months, and then they will pretty much do everything that you need them to do. When you get into these next 2 or 3, this is where it gets a little bit more difficult, because now your schedule is getting thinner and thinner, and you don't have as much time to help somebody. So now you have to come up with some kind of formula for these people to follow. What is your formula and your KPIs, and then your SOPs? So KPIs is key performance indicator. Not only do you have to have these for reps, you have to have these for managers. And then same thing with standard operating procedures. What should the meetings consist of? And you should be going, and they should be seeing you run meetings every now and then still too, and you should be taking things from them. If you have good managers and you're putting them in the right place, I learn from my managers on a regular basis. We have some studs that help out in this company, and I learned so many things from them, and that should be how management goes. You are not the dictator and they do everything you say. In the beginning of a company, that's how it has to be. As you grow, you put people in places to flourish, and the term for this is called decentralized command. You are now the no longer leader in chief. You are not the only that makes decisions. You have people that make decisions for you as well. So this is where you're decentralizing the command and you're letting people kind of build out their offices as they want to. So number 3 is recruiting. Recruiting managers and recruiting sales reps. Like I said before, culture eats strategy. Comp plan eats funnels. If you have a banging culture where people love each other, they work well together, they're all having a blast at work, your team's going to grow because they're going to go tell their friends are going to want jobs, and then they're going to come in for interviews and they're going to hire all the friends. So this is like the easiest way to do it. If you just build a really good culture, people want to come work here because a lot of companies have terrible culture. And number 2 is comp plan eats funnels. What do I mean by this? Funnels can be many things. I kind of categorize funnels as like Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Instagram ads, things, all that kind of stuff. If you have a really good comp plan, everyone wants to come work for you. If all your reps are making multiple 6 figures, you don't really have to try that hard to recruit because everyone wants to come and work there because you have a great comp plan. So when I talk about recruiting, this also goes to managers now too. When you have people in the company now, and you have really good managers and a really good comp plan for managers, a lot of people want to become managers. When you have a lot of people that want to become managers, you have high demand, so you can really target the exact thing you want and make people earn that position. We have a saying that has been said, I'm not kidding, probably 10,000 times in this company, which is we're a personal development company with a compensation plan attached. And so when we recruit people, we're telling them straight off the bat, this job is all about becoming the best version of yourself, and it's going to challenge you to be better and better. The better you become, the more money you make because the comp plan is incentivized that way. So when I have managers, some sales reps will reach kind of this ceiling where, okay, they feel like they've made multiple 6 figures, but to get to the next level, they have to become a manager. Well, to become a manager, you have to now personally develop into becoming a better manager, which kind of leads into the next point, training. So this is pretty simple stuff here, but if you want to train people, you probably have to know how to do it yourself first. So every single manager we've ever had was a sales rep first. We do not hire management from outside. They have to come into the company. They have to be a sales rep first to then go be a manager. The reason for that is I expect our managers to recruit, train, and maintain, which is going to be the next point. But training is, how do you take a sales rep from knowing nothing about solar to knowing everything about solar. This, many different ways you can train, but we came up with a 60-day game plan, and that is the 10-step process to what it takes from the day you get onboarded until the day you become a sales pro. And so we follow that process and we give it to someone when they come in, because this job is not a normal job. When you're hiring people for 1099 and you're hiring people for door knocking, most of the time, the people you're hiring and interviewing have never done those two things before. So to put their mind at ease, you have to give them a roadmap of you're going to go from here to here to here to here to here to here to here. Because people come in, they're like, how do I make 300 grand like that guy who just recruited me? And if you let them just wander to that, they're never going to reach the 300 grand. You have to start here. You have to learn this, then this, then this, then this, then this. So when you're building out a company and you're training people from scratch and you're not going and recruiting high-level talent and paying for them, you have to have a game plan for people to execute on. So recruit top talent and train people. The next thing is to maintain. A lot of people who build companies, they talk about the product a lot. And I will tell you, I think the product is the least important thing on the list. The business you're in is a people business, meaning it's all based around people, right? Like when you work at a company, at the end of the day, a company is just a really large amount of people working towards one specific goal. But the company itself is just the people inside of that company. So the product, when you get to a big enough company, they all kind of look the same. They have a marketing department, an accounting department, a sales department, an HR department. They have a CEO, a CFO, a CSO. They have all the same things. So it's just how good are those people? And a lot of times, like if you think about a supplement company, the best supplement companies probably aren't the ones that have the best ingredients. They're the ones that have the best marketing or best sales team or best CEO. That's all that really matters in this world today. So product, not important. Important, people. You want to build people up. If before you hire someone, they were averaging $40,000 a year as a salary, or maybe $60,000 a year, maybe $80,000 a year, and you take them now and you grow that person's skill set by training and meetings and culture, and now they're making 200 grand a year, that's step number one. If you change somebody's life, they're probably never going to want to leave because this is the company and the structure that made them grow so much as a person. So that's number one, is maintaining them. And that can really go to maintain. The three-pronged beast is compensation plan. Like I said before, it matters so much. And I'm going to go deeper on this now because, like, what does that actually mean? Well, your bonus structure, if you have one, should incentivize people that the harder they work, the more money they make. And I know that sounds simple, but if you look at so many compensation plans for companies, they're years and years old and they haven't changed over time. And you don't incentivize the right behavior. So let me give you an example. We have a 3-tier bonus structure as a company: 6, 9, and 15 installs. So if you do 6 installs, you get roughly a 5K bonus. It's based on some metrics that are solar terminology, so I'll leave that part out. But 6 installs equals 5K. 9 installs equals 10K. 15 equals 25K. So you can see the jump between each one. This is the important part. It's like if you go to the coffee shop and you have a small, medium, and large, and the small costs $2, the medium costs $4, and the large costs $5. Usually just buy the large because it's only $1 more. And that's kind of like the marketing hack, right? So for compensation plan, it's the same thing. These people get a decent bonus. These people get a pretty good bonus, but then the top person gets a disproportionate bonus than everyone else, because this is way harder to do than this one. And I've specifically talked to my reps and talked about 15 installs in a quarter. And they're like, that is my number one goal every quarter, is to hit 15. So if I didn't have that 3rd-tier bonus for those high-level people, they may stop at 9 installs because they already hit the 2nd-tier bonus. But you have to put that 15 bonus. On top of that, we have one really, really big one, which is a 2-megawatt club that we created. This 2-megawatt club is for people that have over 200 installs for us. If you have over 200 installs, you get a profit share on the company. This gives someone something to strive for that's 2-3 years away, that they know when they get there, they're gonna have a huge bump in income. This should be really, really hard to hit, but every company should have something that takes 4 to 5 years to get there. So that when you get somebody good, you keep them around for 4 years because they don't want to leave. Now, once they get this metric, another common thing is when they get into this 2 megawatt club or whatever it might be for your company, you can take this and make your own example. They have to maintain a certain amount of sales and installs and things to stay in this club. You don't just want them to hit this metric and then they can piss off next quarter or next year. They have to continue to do certain things to stay in this club. But if you make it to this club, it's really profitable. So I'm a big believer of 3-tiered comp plans. And then I'm a big believer of something that's big and far out, but that's really, really shiny, and that only like 3 people are going to get there in your company. This is how you keep the top 1%, because this right here will keep the 50% majority of your company, because the bottom reps are always going to be striving to try to hit this number. This is like difficult for a lot of the bottom reps. This is a good bonus for the majority of the company. This is for the superstars, and this is for the top 1% in your company. So that's how I would look at it. Make a bonus for the average people, make a bonus for the good people, make a bonus for the great people, and then make a bonus for like the top 1%, and make it really, really hard to get to, but they will strive and do so much to get this. The second part of maintaining is I talked about now, how do you incentivize the right way with compensation plans? This goes even deeper to how do I incentivize my managers the right way? So my managers also have a 3-tier bonus system. So I won't share exactly what it is because I don't want to give too much information away here, but they have a 3-tiered bonus system. If they hit a certain amount of installs in a quarter, they get X amount of dollars. And then 2, 3, right? And the third one is a big, big bonus that they have to hit, but it's very hard to hit. Now, that incentivizes managers to want to have a lot of sales and installs per quarter. Fantastic. I also created a number called SPR. SPR is sales per rep. So not only do I want them to have a lot of sales in total, I want them to have a good amount of sales per rep. Because the thing is, if I have 2 offices, let me ask you, which one is better? This office has 20 people, 250 installs. And this office has 10 people that do 200 installs. Which one do you think is a better and more well-run office? Which one shows that the manager is actually really good at their job? Which one is the most profitable probably for the company? And which one are the people the happiest? I would argue having half the people and nearly the same amount of sales is better than having 20 people and 250 installs. You may disagree, but this I found to be very, very true. It's a lot harder to manage 20 people than 10. And if I'm getting 10 people doing 200 installs, 10 people, 20 installs, it's about 20 installs per person. This one is about 12 and some, we'll just say 12 and a half. Yeah, 12 and a half installs per person, which is not nearly as good. So now I have a metric around SPR, your sales per rep. I showed installs here, but sales really we'll say. We'll count this as sales, not installs. Sales. So now I have an office that does 20 sales per rep, and I have an office that does 12 and a half sales per rep. That number to me, I think, is the true definition of if you're a good manager or not. Because you can have a big team that doesn't have a lot of sales per person. That probably means your culture isn't good. But if I have a small team doing a lot of sales, that means my culture is really strong. So I incentivize for sales, and I also incentivize for quality. So that's how I maintain. I put mechanisms and incentives for the sales reps. I also put incentive structures for the managers. So for you, if you're thinking about this for your organization or your company, I want you to think about what are the behaviors you want out of people. Reverse engineer this. What are the behaviors I want? Do I want a lot of sales? Do I want quality sales? Do I want people to show up to meetings on time? Do I want them to use this platform? Whatever it is. Then work in, how do I incentivize people to do that, right? When I come out with a new platform, we use something called Rilla. Shout out to Rilla. That freaking software is incredible. It's an AI software that listens to presentations and it summarizes everything that happens in that presentations and grades the rep based on the other reps in the company. When we first came out with it, we had a lot of people not want to use it because they didn't want to be recorded in the house and they were kind of scared. Well, we came up with December. It's called Slay the Sales. And it was a weekly competition that you'd get bonuses or prizes based on the amount of sales you had that week. Well, you can only win the prizes if you recorded the thing on Rilla. And so we had the first week, you had to record it on Rilla, and then you had to make at least one sale. And then your name went in the lottery hat, we'd hit the lottery, and then we'd pull whatever name out of the hat. Like the first 5 people didn't record it on Rilla, so they didn't win. You know what happens the next week? People start recording on Rilla because they want to win the prize. So again, it's all about incentivization structure when it comes to maintaining. You got to keep it exciting and you got to incentivize to get the right behaviors out of people. Last point is be great. I know it sounds like very simple too, but the title of this video is Leading 80 People at 27. I started at 19. I've been a manager since I was 21. Pretty much my entire career, I've been leading people older than me. And so how do you get moral authority for someone who's 42 years old and has been in sales for 15 years? You want to know the simple answer? You got to be really freaking good at what you do. Nobody cares if you're 24, if you are a phenomenal sales rep and you are someone that wants to be, you are a role model to people. So my simple answer to this, if you want to be a leader of multiple people and multiple managers, you need to become this. So you need to not only have number 1 is moral authority, meaning like, you know, a really simple hack that I suggest all people who are leaders in company do? Do not drink alcohol. Bad idea, especially at company events. So how do you get moral authority? No alcohol. You know what happens when you drink alcohol? You say things you shouldn't. You look like an idiot sometimes, and you probably do things you shouldn't. So for anybody who wants to lead people at 24 years old, how do you get the respect of a 40-year-old? Simple. Don't drink alcohol. Very, very simple. Number 2, be in shape. Again, simple thing, but so overlooked. Your body is a perfect representation of how you treat yourself. If you can't win against a bag of chips, you can't win in sales. So be in shape, don't drink alcohol. That gets you ahead of like 80% of the group. Then it gets into the company. Be really good at sales. How do you do that? Go do a lot of sales. Easiest way to do it. My first 3 years before I became, my first year and a half before I became a sales manager, it was my first year and a half in the company. I've never done sales. I was the top 3 reps in the company. My second and third year, when I was a sales manager and growing an office, I was still top 5 in the company. So if I'm really good at sales and I'm leading and growing the sales team, I probably have more authority because people are like, wow, this guy's good at sales and he's also growing this team. The last one really is outwork. The simplest way to, these are all, I would say, pretty simple, but probably if you had to do just one, it'd be outwork everyone else. People love people that work hard. If you are always in the office, always there, always knocking, always in houses, always selling deals, people give you a lot of respect because they know how hard that is. And this is like, I don't really want to do this. This kind of sucks. All these kind of suck because this is a lot of work. Then don't be a sales leader. Being a sales leader is one of the hardest jobs in the world. You have to have so much authority over people. Sales reps are really hard to deal with. I make a joke to my managers all the time. Our job is to herd cats. That's what sales reps are. A sales rep is not a sheep that's just going to follow like, hey, walk that way. They're not. They're cats. It is literally like trying to hold 20 cats in one basket. It's basically impossible. And so with sales reps, you have to be really, really, really good and really on top of your stuff, because if not, sales reps will tell you to your face as a manager, yo, I don't like you and I don't care what you say because I'm better than you at sales and I don't care. And you will have sales reps that don't show up to meetings on time or don't listen or do whatever they want. And that is a very, very bad way to run a sales company, and you will absolutely hate it. So have moral authority, simple rules. Don't drink alcohol. Easiest thing you can do to stop saying stupid things at meetings, or sorry, not at meetings. Hopefully you don't drink at meetings, but stop saying stupid things at company events or to people you shouldn't be. Be in shape, be really good at sales, and outwork everyone. If you do these 4, you will have no problem leading people at 19 years old or 45 years old. And the last part to this moral authority is time. So I said this before, and I'm kind of repeating this last point at the end. It takes a lot of time to prove to people that you're really, really good. It takes time to become a good sales rep. It takes time to become a good manager, and it takes more time to become a good leader of everyone, right? There's levels. How do I become a good sales rep? That's step 1. How do I become a good sales manager where you're just managing sales reps? That's step 2. Step 3, how do I become a good manager who's managing another manager? That's step 3. And then really the top is like, how do I become a good manager that manages multiple managers and multiple reps? That you have to have a level of moral authority, and you have to work at it for long enough for people to say, this guy is really good at what he does. So the 4 last points I'm going to make, if I can summarize this into 4 words, here it is. Number 1, outwork. You have to outwork people. You just have to work harder, especially if you're young, because people do not give you the benefit of the doubt. If you don't walk in a house with gray hairs, they do not automatically trust you. When my father walks in a house, he's 57 years old and he's meeting with a 52-year-old homeowner, there's a mutual level of we're both grown adults that have been through some stuff in life. When you're 22, the 52-year-old guy who's a homeowner does not care about you. So you have to outwork to prove that you're worthy. Number 2 is you have to out-strategize. You have to have really good strategy. You have to read books, plan, study, pay attention, and you have to have really good formulas and things to make you really, really good. Step 1, outwork. Step 2, out-strategize. Number 3, you have to out-improve other people. You have to work harder. You have to plan better. You have to become better. Then lastly, you have to outlast people. So, work harder, plan better, take care of yourself and improve better, and then last longer. This one's a big deal. Things take time. In this world today, everything is about getting rich quick and getting there fast, and you see people on the internet and you compare your life to them. Building a real business takes a lot of time. And if you go do research, the majority of businesses, 95% of businesses, number 1, don't make over $1 million a year. 99% of businesses don't even profit until like year 3 or 4 or 5. So if you want to build a real business and you're trying to really lead people, it takes a little bit of time. You got to outlast people. And then once you've built up a skill set in your environment, in your company, in your community, you got to keep doing it, and you got to continue to focus on these 3. Just because you've been in the game for 15 years doesn't give you a right to stop doing these either. So all 4 of these matter, and this is the true way to lead 80 people at 27 years old. If you're not willing to commit to all 4 of these, you probably shouldn't be a sales leader, or at least not the top sales leader. Maybe you can be a manager or a good sales rep, but you're not going to lead an entire company of 80 people because you have 80 people watching your every single move. And the thing with the moral authority and everything else I spoke about, it takes years to build and it takes seconds to lose. So you have to be very, very careful when it comes to this stuff. But at the end of the day, I've been doing this for almost 8 years now. I started at 19, I'm 27, and we've built a company from 3 people that started at like 5 million, and now we do over 100 million in sales and we have 80 people. So for you, I challenge you to go write in the comments, what are the things that you took away from this video? What are you gonna focus on to become a strong sales leader? And also I wanna know, what industry are you in? If you're watching this video, comment and tell me what it is that you actually do, because I'd love to know who watches these videos. So until next time, thanks for watching. See you.